Let's welcome in LaVar Ball, who, of course, last week debuted his Big Baller brand, both sneakers and slides. You might have just seen him on Facebook Live with Skip Bayless. How did you? Everyone who has known that I was going to sit down with you, or you're going to sit down with us, asked me, how did you come upon the price of $495?
That's what I feel the shoe's worth. And like I said, a lot of these players, I bet you they was never in the room when the price point was adjusted. See, Nike and everybody just throws the shoe out. My son is the one who had the creativity on the shoe. So what's good about that is that's how much we feel the shoe is worth.
So when you say creativity, like he had pencil and paper, or was it like the Nike ID stuff? He was always creating stuff?
You don't need a pencil and paper if you got it in your mind. That's how you create it in your mind.
Yeah, but eventually you have to. Somebody has to put pen to paper, right? Somebody has to draw it
somebody has to put pen to paper, but only on the ideas of my son. Who's going to let a 19-year-old go ahead and develop his own shoe? Nobody is.
So when he saw that's a prototype, right? That you guys, when he saw the prototype, was it like he saw it in his mind?
It was all to his specifications. Zoe created that whole shoe. He has to wear it. He has to perform in it. He knows what he likes. So I had no creativity in that shoe whatsoever. And all I care about is making sure my son likes a shoe that he likes and not something that somebody just thrown to him and say, hey, endorse this. You doing all the running and jumping and you sitting back collecting the money.
Has he worn them to playing yet?
Yes, Lonzo has done some things in them, but we have some other things we got to take care of. You know, because you can't go on a first run and just be like, okay, there's going to be some problem somewhere where he might I need some more cushion right here, or I need this tighter right here.
All right, LaVar Ball joining us here in the herd. Doug Gottlieb filling in for Colin. So you guys, there was a public appearance, this weekend, right?
Yes.
Where it was you and Melo and Zoe.
Yeah.
But when you made the public appearance, you're not wearing...
We were at Baller's Life, and it was raining. I'm not wearing my good shoes in the rain. I wear them raggedy Adidas.
No, you see, you wear the slide. That's why you have the slides, right? You wear the slides out.
I wear my slides when I'm being comfortable. I don't know if I was too comfortable in Baller's Life.
Okay, but then when, all of a sudden, you make a huge announcement. Everybody's talking about it, right?
Yes.
And then you make an appearance, and your sons are both wearing Jordans, and you're wearing
cares?
some Adidas.
We got a lot of shoes.
I know, but don't you have to sell your brand?
We're going to sell our brand. Don't worry about it. We're doing good.
How are the sales tracking?
The sales are tracking very good. Can't you tell?
Give me, is there some numbers to it?
Yeah, some numbers. Good numbers.
Like how many as of
How
as
about
of today?
495 good numbers?
495 sales on $495.
Either one you want to choose is good on you.
LaVar Ball joining us in the herd. How did Zoe feel about the reaction? Because there's a kind of a visceral reaction when the price was announced.
Well, here's everything. Everybody's talking about the price. Let's throw the price out the window. Here's what it is. It's a symbolic shoe, and that comes with a price. You don't just go to the store and say, hey, let me get a Kyrie Irving, let me get a LeBron James, let me get a KD. And oh, by the way, throw in a Lonzo Ball, ZO2.
I want to ask you about those meetings that people talked about that you had with Under Armour, with Adidas, with Nike. You'll hang out for a moment?
Yes.
All right, we'll get to that in a moment. LaVar Ball will continue to join us here in the herd. Doug Gottlieb filling in for Colin. Your middle son, Jello, who's going to play at UCLA next year, and your younger son, Melo, they played together at Chino Hills. They were 30-3 this year.
Right.
And their coach was fired. And Dennis Lattimore, who, of course, played at Arizona, is now the new head coach at Chino Hills. How much involvement did you have on the coaching change at Chino Hills?
None. That's something the staff made.
But if you wanted if you didn't want a coaching change to be made, you could have said, "Hey, you're not making a coaching change," couldn't you?
Well, yeah, I could have did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you pleased with the move?
I'm pleased with the move because it was a little divided with the other coach there.
Why? What was it?
I don't even want to get into that part as far as he was trying to say one thing and I was trying to say one thing, so you kind of got the kids going both ways. We already did it a certain way to go 35-0.
Right.
So when you start,
but you also had Zoe the year before, and you're 35-0.
Oh, okay, but we had won 60 games in a row without Zoe.
LaVar Ball joining us. Okay, so the question becomes, look, you've been an involved parent. You coach you coach your kids in AAU ball. You had them play all together. They played all together in high school, and you've been involved in high school games. And to a certain level, it's harder at the college games. I think people's biggest question is, what's your level of involvement going to be when Lonzo is in the NBA?
The same involvement I have right now. That's my son. That's it. They can't say one time I was up at a practice at UCLA just sitting there. After a game, I'm hawking the coaches saying, what you guys doing after a loss? It's not about that. It's just the kids growing up in the beginning, they need some direction. And that's why I give them. After they get out of high school and do what they do, they're on autopilot. They got to play for the coaches they playing for.
But there's the reaction to your comments about, hey man, can't win it with three white dudes playing defense.
That's just an opinion.
No, I listen. I understand it's an opinion.
Right.
The question becomes if things don't go well in the NBA, and it's somebody else's fault. You know how it is. Like you're going to attract the attention.
I only blame one person every time they lose.
Who's that?
Always my son. Always. He the point guard. So people start throwing this stuff out there. LaVar, blame this. And they never heard me say, I blame the guys for losing. I only blame one guy for losing. That's my son.
But you did say you can't win a championship with three white dudes defensively, right?
I said that, yes.
Okay, so the question that's not only blaming your son.
So what you trying to ask me?
No, I'm just saying that's not only blaming your son.
That's just an opinion, but I blame my son. This is something that I say.
LaVar Ball joining us here in the herd. Doug Gottlieb in for Colin. Let me play you Mike Brown. Actually, you know what? Let me play you Adrian Wojnarowski. Okay, Adrian Wojnarowski
Who is that?
He works for Yahoo Sports currently. It's a website called The Vertical.
Okay.
He's the foremost respected NBA reporter. I think that'd be an accurate way. Here's what he said about what people in the NBA think of your involvement, your company tied with your son.
It's more a source of amusement, I think, right now. Now, once Lonzo gets into the NBA, he's got to then exist in a locker room, and he's got to exist on the court where guys are going to love to go after him, especially if his father is still talking. This can't go on, Doug. Now, let's say Phoenix gets the second pick and they draft him. Like, the dad can't start going after Eric Bledsoe.
That's where the fear is.
I can barely hear him.
He said, look, if he goes to Phoenix, you can't go after Eric Bledsoe. If he goes to the Celtics, you can't go after Isaiah Thomas. That's really the fear.
What do they mean by go after him?
You can't say...
Go down and choke him out? What do they mean by go after him?
No, you can't be critical of
I can't be critical as far as what?
As far as their play.
I can be critical on anybody in the world. If I want to say it, I'm going to say it.
I understand, but don't you think that puts your son in a tough place in an NBA locker room?
It doesn't put my son in a tough place. Here's what I don't want. I don't want my son to go to the NBA and people put his hand on the shoulder and say, you know what, Zoe? We're not going to come at you because you're a great guy, so we're not going to go that hard on you in the first few years. I want everybody to come at him. It's the competitiveness.
No. I don't think anybody.
But that's what I'm saying.
Everybody's going to come at your son regardless.
If you're worried about what I'm saying on the outside instead of playing my son on the court, you got the wrong thing going.
I don't think it's worried about people coming out. I've told people, like, look, Lonzo Ball is a big enough name that guys are going to come at him anyway. But I'm talking about your teammates, though.
Why would the teammates come after Zoe?
I'm saying the idea that if you're critical of teammates, that makes it more difficult to lead your team.
It's just like the guys at UCLA. Do you think they worried about what I'm saying? They still going to be, those are Lonzo's friends. And those are all good guys. But if I have opinion of something, I'm going to state it. Can't nobody stop me from doing it. If you don't like it, fine. If you like it, fine. If you take it personal, stop wearing your feelings on your sleeve.
What happens if he doesn't go to L.A.?
What happens if he doesn't go to L.A.? Zoe's goal was to go to the NBA. And that's it. I prefer him to play for the Lakers. If everything goes right, I'm going to speak it into existence. I would prefer him to play for the Lakers.
We all make comparisons in players.
Yes.
I've said Jason Kidd.
Right.
You've seen him more. You know him.
Right.
Tell me who he reminds you of.
He reminds me of Lonzo Ball.
But you can give me a parallel.
He's the new breed. You ain't seen nothing like him yet. That's what I'm saying. Y'all try to compare him to everybody. You say Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd 6'4", my boy 6'7". My boy can jump. He can jump a little bit.
Jason Kidd could jump a little bit.
He can jump a little bit. He can't jump like Zoe.
Big, powerful.
Yes. He's powerful. Lonzo longer, block more shots.
I would agree with that.
So it's different. You know, people try to say he's like this guy. He's a little bit of every little player. He's not around yet. You ain't seen that guy. He's a better shooter.
He is a better stance shooter. There's the question about whether or not you can shoot the
way
in which he shoots in the NBA.
They've been talking about Zoe shooting like that. As long as that ball go in, we don't care if you wrap it around your back 2 times and kick it up with your foot.
I actually think Trae Young did that. The wrap around the back is the Trae Young shot. It was fun to have you in studio. We really appreciate you doing it. Can't wait to see the sales numbers on the Big Baller brand ties, which of course he's promoting already.